adventures. This is going to be my first video in this series. I want to teach you everything I know about growing gourmet oyster mushrooms and how to sell them to restaurants, farmers markets, make a profit, make a business out of it. It's fun, I enjoy it, and I hope you enjoy the series of videos. We're going to start this first video off, just kind of a video of what the finalized product looks like. Figure, you get your goals first before you start thinking about it. And you see we have some elm oyster mushrooms. These are grown on pasteurized straw, put in plastic tubing packed in there with rye grain as the inoculation medium. These are on their second flush, so there's not a whole lot of them. And they're still growing. Those caps will get a little bit bigger. Down here I have some king oyster mushrooms growing. You can see they're just starting out. Now I have been having some problem with these because I moved into a new place. Had some new challenges because it is an old farmhouse now. And a lot of dust, a lot of renovation been going on. And I've had to revamp some things to make these things work. Get the air a lot cleaner. And I'll show you all about that in a bit. But for now, I'm showing you what these look like. Sometimes I grow these logs vertical. Right now I'm growing them sideways. And I've already figured I'm probably going to have to reduce the thickness and make them a little bit longer. Because as you can see with 4 shelves per unit, they're going to grow pretty tall. And they do kind of get squashed up there, and you have to kind of cut them up and free them out between the shelf above. So it kind of gets to be a hassle. You can see right here, I'm actually cooking up a batch of pasteurized straw. I got a tarp around it to keep the heat in. Different people use different things. Insulation and trash bags, foam insulation. I prefer actually the tarp because you can clean it off if it gets dirty. You don't have to worry about getting it wet and falling apart. And you just double it up, and it works pretty darn good. And all I really have is a plastic bag over this. And there's my meat thermometer. I'll pull it back for a little bit so you can see. A couple bricks cooking in there, holding everything down. A lot of steam. Close that off real quick. We'll get into about the pasteurization process in one of these videos. I'm back here in the corner of this basement. You can see I have my humidification with the ultrasonic pond fogger. This is one of the 5-jet models from mainlandmart.com. It's been a very reliable place to buy them. I bought a 12-jet before and it crapped out on me. And really this 5-jet, it does the job. But you can see I have a space heater behind it, only on the fan setting, no heat. And the reason I'm using it is because the air it pushes out is really gentle, and you don't want a whole lot of wind movement. You just want enough to blow the fog out of this containing area. And I ought to also put up a little scoop on the back part, get the fog to come up in the air a little bit. Sometimes when it gets really dry, the mushrooms closer up in elevation, they'll get dry if the humidity isn't circled around up there. But it's actually good to have it go mostly toward the floor. That way it protects the rafters, because this is a basement. Although I do have the ceiling covered in plastic with 40-watt fluorescent lights cut out. Gives a decent protection. I've never had a problem with other molds and such growing on the house wood. And you can see this is the original basement. I actually am lucky to have 2 basements in this old farmhouse. But as you can see, this is the original basement. And I was using this area for the grow area, but there's some problems. One of them, you can see that all this old English rock is poorly mortared together, and there is silt and dirt that washes in when it rains hard, making a big mess, and plus the floor is uneven. I'm going to have to work on that at some point. Water tends to pool up back in this corner, making a mess. On this side of the basement, it's pretty much the similar situation. I'll turn this light on for you to see. More old English work. People actually built this place. We're actually probably Germanic Amish descent, because if you looked in the barn, you looked in the main house joints, it's all wooden peg style, no nails, which is nice. It's actually more sturdy. Some people think it's a bad construction element, but I say it, and what I've read and seen, it's actually stronger than conventional ways. But you can see all these joints, just bad mortar job. Falls out, flicks out. So I'm going to have to work on repointing all of this if I want a nice washable surface. You can see down here water coming in. I may actually even have to put in what's called a French drain, which is a system where you bust out the perimeter of your basement about a foot away and a foot down, and you install irrigation. You cover that in gravel, cement over top of it, and it all gets ran to a sump pump. That way all that water and silt doesn't come out on the main floor. Now also over on this side of the basement, I have an old coal bin area. Oh, and I didn't turn on the light switch. It's no biggie. It's just pretty much another area that I'll have to clean up and use eventually. Now, as you can tell, I really don't have a whole lot of logs out here for a gourmet mushroom business. I've been sick with the flu for about the past 2 months. It was bad for the first couple weeks, and it's just been off and on. So my production's been low. Plus, like I said, I'm having some problems getting these king oysters going. Elm oysters, they've been kind to me. They seem to grow through all kinds of hardship, kind of like gold oysters and pink oysters, which I both don't really do, but we'll get into that later, why I choose these over them. See, here I have a nice cast iron wash tub that came with the house, set up on blocks. This basement has 2 drains. One drain had to plug up, and if you have a similar situation with an old basement too, you'll notice if you turn on your ventilation and air starts sucking out of the holes in the floor, and somebody didn't put in a proper trap in your old basement, and you get all kinds of sewer gas and nastiness coming up. You do not want that. Have a good 400 cubic foot per minute hydro farm fan, 6-inch duct, runs out to vents put in with glass block windows. Now, this basement has 2 vents. One is my fresh air intake, which I don't even have turned on because the cold weather outside really forces air. You can feel it coming in pretty hard. I don't really even have this fan turned on at the moment because you won't be able to hear my voice. It's pretty loud, but it gets the job done. Anything wired, it's either between the plastic or out of the way, up high. Do not want to get electrocuted. There's a lot of humidity, a lot of standing water on the floor at times. Got to keep it safe. Have a separate outlet, a separate breaker for the pasteurization, because it does run very hot. You can even at the end feel the plug, and it gets hot at 1500 watts continuously. But yeah, I think that will do it for this first video as an introduction. I hope you like it. Hit that like button. Show me some of your support with your comments, and I'll keep it up. Enjoy!